such an asshole.
We got a good question, and it's a good question because it doesn't paint. It presents to you a choice you have to make whether you realize it or not. And that's, are you going to take your lumps up front, or are you going to spread it out over time, accrue interest, and take what is going to be 10 years mandatory labor and turn it into 25 years of misery? Or, like my one buddy did, you take your lumps up front and you bang it out in a 4-year torturous degree of engineering. And I kind of did the 10 years mandatory labor. If I were to do it all over again, I would have done the 4 years upfront pain. Because the longer you spread it out, the more calories of energy, the more painful and the more damaging it is to your life and your finances. Let's go through the question. Hey, Clary, I'm 29, 30,000 saved up in Bitcoin, make about 55,000 annual as a truck driver, no debt, renting a room for $375 a month. Not bad. Not bad at all. No family, beater car, generally a minimalist, wasted my early 20s, my early mid 20s, but have since recovered. Dude, if that's all you wasted, you are so far ahead of the game. If all you wasted was your early to mid 20s, you are way ahead of the game. And you are. I mean, you're 29, you're not even 30 years old yet, and you have a positive net worth, and you make more than the average person does in America. You're doing well. Despite working with my hands daily, I realized I have no significant skills to offer to my neighbor. I'm thinking of taking up an electrical apprenticeship with the goal of working for myself long term, which is the primary incentive. The issue is that I will be making very little cash for around 4 years. The alternative is that I pursue driving in the oil and gas sector immediately and work insane amounts of overtime for a large part of the year. Annual might be around 75,000 to start. For the other part of the year, I'd probably go relax in the Philippines. You need my answer on this one? What? Should I just keep on doing what I'm doing year round? Or make more money and then go sit on the Philippines for half a year? I don't know. Do you like ice cream and blowjobs? What do you want, man? I mean, everyone's got you like putting bamboo shoots in your nails? What? I happen to speak their language, so I'd fit in well. You need a bigger green light. What do you need, man? What should I do? The driving route seems better at first glance, but the issue down the road is that I'll always be working for someone else and that I have no significant skills to offer. Should I bite the bullet and just suck it up for 4 years? I'll be 33 to 34 with a ticket. I mean, with a ticket. Some final context is I'd like to live rurally and start a family at some point, even if it is overseas. Yeah, you're almost going to look, you speak the language. I'm assuming you have some cultural connection there as well. I'd almost say, yeah, that's why. I mean, yeah, you might find the love of your life here in the United States. Yeah, you might find the love of your life here. Sure. All right. But yeah, I would spend the majority of my hunting over there. Every day currently is monotonous and lonely. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I thought you meant your job. But yeah, your job is. You mean without a family? Yeah, man. No, I'm not as harsh on men, um, because guys do have feelings and emotions, and yeah, it kind of sucks. I'd imagine it does suck. Most guys want to have a family, want to have a gal to love, but in one hemisphere, and oh, hey, how you doing? In another hemisphere. Thanks, Anonymous. All right. So here's what I'm going to recommend, and this is why I'm going to recommend it. Just bite the bullet and take your money up front, man. There are so many economic, mathematical, compound interest efficiencies that comes with young guys and gals too, taking your lumps up front, get your finances squared away, get that money invested in a compounding investment fund, et cetera, et cetera. Because over time, you're spending less calories of energy. And it's kind of like having kids. You are designed to have kids when you're young, ladies, because you got the energy. And it's the same thing, I think, with young men is you should do that early on so the rest of your life is easier. If you went into now it's specific to your question, if you went into an electrician apprenticeship, yeah, you're 4 years out of money, and then you're gonna be making your same 55,000 when you come out of that, at least for a couple more years. So you're looking at 6 years of zero income or the same amount of income you're making now. And what I would say, yeah, just look, if you can make 75 grand just hauling oil, maybe you got to get an advanced CDL. I don't know. I mean, you probably have to get your flammable and liquid transport certification. I'm not a truck driver. I don't know what the specific certifications are. But if you got those certifications and you busted your ass off and you became another version of Alex Patino, our truck driver Latino agent in the field, 75 grand. What's the average electrician make? I mean, your average tradesman electrician in the United States who's busy fucking his sister. I understand. We're talking average normies, who are drunk and all right. Average salary electrician. So this will be mid 10, 12 years. Okay, the average salary for electrician in the United States is $60,000. You'd be making $14,000 a year more than that. Truck driving, you estimate. Why would you look? And just so you know, electrician, that's harder. I'm going to insult it. It's harder work than truck driving. All right. You got to get up in the corners and the crevasses. It's physically more demanding. Go watch Scott Wilson, Dumbass Contractor, on YouTube. He'll talk about different types of trades and all that. But as far as I see it, you're going to make more than an electrician will after 10 years experience. However, you'd be the type that want to become self-employed, so I can understand that. And you'd probably make more. Plus, you're not fucking your sister, and you're probably not going to drink on the job. And you know how a watch works and how time works. You know how to be punctual. So you could make more as an electrician. But for the here and now, man, no. For your long-term goals of wanting to get married and having a kid, I think you busting your ass off driving for the oil companies, if you could pull 75 grand a year with part-time work, do that. Then you go to the Philippines and you can start looking for a wife and start working on that ultimately important life goal that you want, which is a family and kids, right? So, and I'm not accusing you of shooting the white girl blood, all right? You haven't come in, but it's not what I want to do. But your expectation, but then I won't be self-employed. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're making the money. And I would also say, as tradesmen, you are answering. I mean, obviously, everyone has a boss. As an electrician or any other kind of tradesman, you still are answering to the homeowners or the clients or something like that. It's not, yeah, you can pick and choose your clients as well, kind of like an accountant. But that, and yes, there's a benefit to being self-employed, but the path for you to get there, so it's 4 years training, no income. 2 years apprenticing and maybe getting your master's license where you can then strike out on your own. That's what, 6, 7, 8 years from now? That then you might be making 150, 160. No, you can make a lot more money now, invested as a truck driver. Yeah, you're quote not self-employed, but come on, truck driving it's like me working security. Did I work for a company? Yes. Did I ever see my boss? Rarely, because I worked the night shift. And truck driving is kind of the same thing, right? Your boss ain't there. You're not in an office. You're not in a warehouse where the boss is always there, right? So I've been doing the truck drive. It's the most kind of self-employed, not self-employed job there might be, like security guard work. You make 75 grand, and long term, you could start hustling, trying to find your wife. Down the road, let's say you find out you save up your money now, you get a nice nest egg, and you can go to the Philippines. I would maybe become a electrician in the Philippines because you'll be there, and you'll have to have something to do, and maybe that might be the time to look into becoming an electrician. But right now, yeah, you're in a pretty good spot with a pretty good salary, even without your overtime or working for the oil firms. If you think you can lock down 75,000 a year part-time and then spend the rest of the time in the Philippines or wherever you want to go, yeah, I'd do it. But the overall point is, I mean, this is why I recommend it's not a philosophical point I'm making. It's an exponential math point I'm making. This is why I recommend high schoolers, like, look, you are way better off begging your parents to let you stay there rent-free from 18 to 22, but working 2 full-time jobs, right? That's 4 years times 2 full-time jobs. That's 8 years full labor. You take all your money that you make, throw it in the S&P 500. There's your retirement. You don't have to worry about retirement. You still got to work, But if it's more like the escape velocity out of Earth. You got to put all your effort up front to escape the escape velocity. And then once you escape Earth's gravitational pull, then it's just maintaining the orbit around Earth or getting cruising speed. You get the plane, most of your fuel's going to be spent getting up to speed and getting up to altitude, and then you just cruise in ideal conditions, just maintaining speed. A lot of people, they just like, they do the minimum amount possible, and they never achieve that escape velocity out of poverty. And then you borrow money, and then I'm gonna be an EMT. I'm gonna be a realtor, bro. I'm going to go to school for criminal justice. Show me someone who's never going to escape velocity. And I was kind of the same thing. Like, I majored in finance, and I had to bust my ass off probably for 15 years, unnecessarily much, because I didn't major in the right thing. And then my Vietnamese buddy majored in electrical engineering, took his lumps up front. He's never had poverty problems since he was 22. Never. And I'd say your opportunity to be an electrical engineer would be just to crack down those 3 to 4 years, make the money, bank the money, and then spend winters, I presume, in the Philippines? Absolutely. Absolutely. But the point still remains, you are going to spend. The lazy man's way out is to do all your work up front in the right field. Take your lumps up front, be done with it. It's going to be I see it 10 years wandering in the desert. It's a lost decade. Well, it's not a lost decade. It's an invested decade of hard labor. Whether that's going to school and sacrificing sleep, working 2 jobs, whatever, working overtime, maybe in your case, going out to the middle of nowhere when no one wants to work. Every man must do his penance. But if you do it, then you're not some 40-year-old like, oh, bro, I need to finance a car because I don't have the cash to afford it. Or some gal like, I need to study. Like, really, do you want to be the 40-year-old who's just the most sad, pathetic? I need a student loan bailout because they were too lazy to go work a second job to pay off their student loan debts. All right, there you go. Link below, Bachelor Pad Economics, the financial advice Bible for men. If anyone wants to learn how to manage their finances, so life is a lot easier. ET, $5. Hi, Cappy. What is the realistic time frame to expect with prerequisite requirements before making money in accounting? Thanks anyway. I mean, any amount of money, you could go work for Jackson Hewitt or H&R Block, and in 3 to 6 months training, not like full time, like they have you take some training, you can make, what is it? I think it's depending on where you are, anywhere between $15 to $25 an hour. I mean, it's making money. It's not making a lot. You can barely live on it, but you can make money doing that. When you start getting certified in things like an enrolled agent, and you have a couple of years, like if you got 2 tax seasons under your belt working at H&R Block, or Liberty Tax, whatever, you get your enrolled agent, yeah, you could charge around $100. I would say you could charge around $100 an hour to do people's taxes. A lot of times the taxes aren't going to be that difficult. But yeah, I definitely 50. Is $50 an hour enough for you? I know Chad, when he needs bookkeepers, now of course you probably need a little bit of experience in that too, 2 to 3 years. He's billing out at $65 an hour, and he don't do that. That's beneath him. He outsources that to other bookkeepers. Yeah, you're looking at, on the taxes, probably a quicker turnaround. A year, making $50 an hour. You almost want to do 2 years so you don't fuck up people's taxes. So a year or 2 with the self-education and training, doing a year penance. Yeah, a year or 2, maybe 3, and then you're making real money. But if you get that enrolled agent, yeah, you're making good money. 3 years. Let's just call it 3 years. And not only 3 years to make good money, but self-employed, because that's the only way you're really going to make it. Jackson Hewitt, H&R Block, fine companies, have no problems with them, right? They're not going to pay you $50 an hour to do taxes. They're going to charge people $50 an hour, pay you $20 to do their taxes, which at that point, you just open up your own tax shop, say, I do taxes, and you charge $65 an hour or whatever. All right, that's it. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.